Hey everyone! I wanted to talk about this new moon coming up tomorrow at 2:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I think there's some important pieces that we can dive into and think about with this particular configuration. So if you see me looking over here, I'm just looking at the chart as I speak to you all. But, we've got this sun and moon conjunction because it's always conjoined at the new moon, and it's in the sign of Taurus. But what's so interesting is in that configuration is the placement of Black Moon Lilith. And Black Moon Lilith is within 1 degree of the sun and the moon. And so oftentimes when I ask people, do you know who Lilith is? They're like, not really, And so I want to talk to you about her for a moment. So in her mythology, the myth goes that she was married to Adam before Eve was. And basically Adam wanted her to submit to him. He wanted her to submit to him sexually. And Lilith said no. And so as a result, God and Adam kicked Lilith out of the Garden of Eden. And prior to that, she had represented the tree of life. And so when she was kicked out of the Garden of Eden, she was then said to tempt men with lusty dreams and to produce demonic children and all this crazy sauce, right? And as you know, even just listening to it, right, it's this mythology about the rejection of the feminine, especially the rejection of the independent feminine, the one who makes her own decisions versus going along with what the masculine wants. And, I use those terms as like divine masculine, divine feminine, which we all have within us. So, the story here from what I'm seeing is, Lilith is at this Sabian symbol degree, which I'll read to you. The degree is 22 degrees Taurus, and the symbolism of that is a white dove flying over troubled waters. And the meaning is the spiritual inspiration that comes to the individual in the overcoming of a crisis. And so Lilith, normally her, just taking her symbol alone can be really intense. And it's about this reclaiming of your independence, your divine feminine. But what this placement is telling me is because it's falling on the new moon and on the sun, almost exact within 1 degree, that there's something being overcome, and it's really felt, I don't know if any of you are tuning into this, but it's really felt like there is this battle for, sort of the patriarchy to get taken down a notch lately. Like I've been feeling it, and it's almost requiring us to stay really centered and rooted and connected to our heart as we move through this next phase. And I feel like we are coming to a culmination of goodness around this, that there is hope. And I'm feeling that through the symbolism of not just Lilith, but also the North Node and Mercury have some symbolism that is speaking to this idea that we are moving on into more liberation, into newness, that the new is coming. And even in the last couple of days, I've been like, something new is coming. It feels like there's something brewing. And so for you, you might be feeling a reclaiming. For me, I've been feeling a reclaiming around my own divine feminine and what the patriarchy has sort of done to me or with me and how it's filtered in through my brain. And I've been feeling like the more I stay centered in the love that I know that I am, right? Because Lilith was that love too. She was loving of herself. And the more that you stay rooted in that, the more that you're going to overcome something right now. And so I wanted to say that as an encouragement to not reject yourself, to not bow down to what the norms are, to what society is saying. You know, it's so funny. I just started this program with my friend Cassie Underwood, who I love so much. You all should follow her. And her program this week is called Bad Bitch Energy. And what a perfect time to start this, that she's doing this, because I feel like literally Lilith is like the bad bitch, you know, and she's coming out and she's rising this week. And how perfect. I'll have to tell Cassie that, but it's she's so in tune. And I think it's just such a good time to break down those social norms, those cultural norms, the religious norms that have been going on. And, you know, the Taurus energy to me is a lot about being in the present moment, facing the present moment as it comes, not trying to jump ahead, not trying to go back. You know, although Taurus reveres tradition at times, I feel like the very evolved Taurus energy is very present. It's very here and now and in the senses. And I think that that's a really important place to be. Pluto and Jupiter and Saturn are all galvanizing this energy in different ways. So we are digging for the jewels within us. We are going to have some luck. We might also have some timing delays and things like that. But I feel like there's a lot of positivity that can come out of this, especially as we stay centered and aligned. You know, Mercury is also sitting directly on the North Node during this time. And to me, if you have any communication gifts that you need to share through writing, through teaching, through sharing videos or podcasts or things like this could be a great time to launch and to let those gifts out into the world. And so that's another thing that I wanted to say to you right now. So I really do see this time as an opportunity, even though it's been tricky, because we're clearing some of those patriarchal norms and we're headed into a new direction. But I feel like there's a tidal shift happening, especially if you have been honoring what you truly desire and what you truly need for yourself in this time, instead of just going along with it and not rejecting the self. You know, this is a time of radical self-acceptance, self-love, and leaning into that. And that is not selfish. You know, that might be one of those patriarchal beliefs that you've digested. That is not selfish. That is, that's really important during this time, because unconditional love for the self is the same as unconditional love for the other. Hear that again. Unconditional love for the self is the same as unconditional love for the other. The more you place conditions on how you love yourself, the more you're probably going to be placing conditions on how you love others as well. And so they are equally as important, as expansive. They help one another. And so, yeah, as you learn how to unconditionally love others, you learn how to unconditionally love yourself, and vice versa. They are connected. They are not separated. We are getting away from separation and from this polarity and polarization that is happening. That's part of the patriarchy too. And I can do a whole talk on that if you want. But, you know, I really wanted to talk about this, radical self-acceptance as a way to move through this energy and embracing your divine feminine, whatever that means to you, and moving away from the patriarchy, and knowing that you'll be safe as you do, knowing that you'll be cared for as you do, knowing that you will be loved because you're allowed to have a voice. You're allowed to have needs. You're allowed to truly step into who you are in full integrity and be loved anyway. And, so that's part of the mythology that we're breaking down. And I believe that there is hope around this. I believe that there can be movement around this. So I've been seeing it in my life. I hope that you're seeing it in yours. And if you need to rest during this time and integrate, please do. And if you have loads of energy, that's great too. But just know that some of this is breaking free. And I wanted to send that message.